The night drive. I always had a fear of driving at night. The darkness seemed to possess an uncanny power, amplifying the smallest sounds and magnifying my imagination's darkest corners. Yet on that fateful night, I found myself behind the wheel, embarking on a journey that would forever haunt my dreams. It was a moonless night, the kind that drowned the world in an inky abyss. The only source of light came from the dim glow of my car's headlights, painting fleeting shadows on the desolate road ahead. I clutched the steering wheel tightly, my knuckles turning pale as unease settled in the pit of my stomach. The night seemed strangely still, devoid of any signs of life. My eyes strained to catch glimpses of any movement beyond the reach of my headlights. The road stretched on, disappearing into the darkness as if it led to a realm untouched by the living. As I drove deeper into the night, a chilling sensation crawled up my spine. I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes were following my every move. My heart quickened its pace, pounding against my chest like a trapped animal seeking escape. In an attempt to distract myself, I turned on the car radio. But instead of the usual melodies, I was greeted by a distorted static that sent shivers down my spine. Unease clutched at my throat, making it difficult to breathe. I fumbled with the dial, desperate to find a familiar voice or a song that could anchor me to reality. Just as I was about to give up, a raspy voice emerged from the radio. "Turn back," it whispered, its tone filled with an otherworldly menace. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end as I tried to rationalize the voice as a mere malfunction, but deep down, I knew it was something more, something sinister. Determined to escape this macabre situation, I pressed harder on the accelerator, hoping to leave the haunting voice behind. However, the faster I drove, the louder and more persistent the voice became. "Turn back!" it urged, this time with a menacing growl. The road ahead seemed to stretch into infinity, with no signs of civilization or refuge in sight. I realized I was trapped, entangled in the web of the night. Panic gnawed at my sanity, threatening to consume me whole. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness, standing in the middle of the road. My heart lurched, and I slammed on the brakes, screeching to a halt just inches away from the mysterious silhouette. It stood there, motionless, like a specter from the netherworld. My hands trembled as I rolled down the window, desperate to make sense of the situation. "Who are you? What do you want?" I stammered, my voice barely audible above the sound of my pounding heart. The figure remained silent, its eyes hidden in the shadow of a tattered hood. A gust of wind blew, revealing a glimpse of its face, pale, gaunt, and etched with an ancient sorrow. I felt an icy chill run down my spine as I gazed into those haunting eyes that seemed to have witnessed unspeakable horrors. Without warning, the figure reached out a bony hand, its touch as cold as death itself. A jolt of terror shot through me, and I pulled back, revving the engine in an attempt to escape the clutches of this nightmarish encounter. As my car roared to life, the figure vanished, melting back into the darkness from whence it came. The radio crackled to life once more, this time with an eerie laughter that echoed through the cabin. I drove on, my mind clouded with fear and uncertainty, unsure of what lay ahead. Hours passed like an eternity, with the road stretching on endlessly. The night seemed to devour all traces of time, trapping me in its timeless grasp. Exhaustion weighed heavy on my eyelids, threatening to drag me into an abyss of sleep. But just as I was about to succumb to the darkness, a glimmer of light appeared on the horizon. I blinked, unsure if it was a mere mirage. But as I drew closer, the light grew brighter, guiding me like a beacon of hope. Finally, I emerged from the suffocating darkness, greeted by the warmth of streetlights and the hum of civilization. I had survived the night drive, a harrowing journey that forever etched itself into the fabric of my being. To this day, I can't forget the haunting eyes and the menacing voice that plagued that night. The experience left me scarred, forever wary of the mysteries that lurk in the shadows of the night. And whenever I find myself behind the wheel after dusk, a shiver runs down my spine, a reminder of that fateful night drive when I ventured into the heart of darkness and barely escaped with my sanity intact.